Hi there, lovely stitchers. I do hope you're all well. So today I'm going to do the next stage of our little Huswife purse. And I thought if I break it down into 2 or 3 stages, just so we don't get a little bit overwhelmed and think I've got to get this all done today. It's absolutely not what I'm about. Um, but please, if you want to go ahead and carry on and march along, that's absolutely up to you. You know, that's your time. So first up, I'm just going to work out what I want in the little purse and how much space it's going to take up. So I'll bring you down onto the desk and we'll have a little see what kind of sizes I'm going to go with. Right, you can see I've already cut a bit out of this fabric, but it's waste not, want not for me. So I was going to do it right up tight, but then I began to think, right, what do I need in this little case? So hold on, I was thinking I want some scissors. I want one bit of beading thread. I want my lid. I might want a bit of beeswax. Also, and I've not got them down. Let me just grab them. Oh, oh no, you can't. I might want a tube of beads. So I'm just going to pop all that in. I mean, I'm going big on the beads. Just have a little look-see. Scissors in. Oh, and just see where I want this to be. Oh, I might have underestimated. That tube of beads is quite huge, so I'd probably not. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. That will be fine. I'm going with that. I'm just going to give myself, just because I don't want to not have bits and bobs. Right. Okay. So I'm going to cut this out. Find my scissors. And then I'll go with some measurements for you. Tell you what I'm kind of. It's a little bit winging it, I know, but this, it's not a pattern. It is. So what's the size? Where's my tape measure? So we go in centimeters. It's about 14 and a half centimeters by 20-ish. Yeah, 20 centimeters if I press that out. Inches, we're going 7 3/4 by 5 and a half. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. 5 and 5/8. Is that how it works in? I'm rubbish at inches and what have you because we don't work in imperial anymore, and I never have. It's not been a thing in the UK for many years. So yeah. Anyway, right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little guide as to where I don't want to sew, basically, or I want to stitch or whatever. So I'm going to give myself a couple of finger widths either side. We'll give it a measure in a minute. And at the top, I'm going to come down about a centimetre, 3/8 of an inch, quarter of an inch, something like that. That's, I'm just going to draw around it. Just going to give myself some space, that's all. Because I just don't want to be stitching anything outside of this. There's no need to be. All right, and we do same again. Just get in line roughly. This is only a rough kind of measure. Don't get too hung up on, as I say, it's only guidelines, so I don't stitch outside here. And don't cut this out. Don't cut this out yet. And the reason for that is I would be careful of your fabric if it frays. So I was going to press this, but I've put the iron. I've put the iron away, so I'm not going to do that on camera. That doesn't matter. So that's my template of where, if you're wondering what pen I'm using, it's an AQUA marker. The link for this is in the description box below. And as always, it is an Amazon affiliate, so you know I do get a tiny amount of pence for it. Let me just have a quick sip of my tea before we move on. Excuse me. So yeah, that will give me enough space to add all my bits and bobs. So next stage is I'm going to quilt this. Well, my kind of quilting, the simplest form of quilting you could possibly want to have. It will be hand done by me. So this is a little bit of batting wadding, just a scrap, and I'm literally putting it on top and cutting it to the same size. No need to measure. Put that away somewhere. Okay, then your next piece is you want to have your lining. This is a bit of liberty that I have been using for, I bought a metre of it from somewhere, from the quilt show I think it was, and I just use it very sparingly and frugally, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to cut some of that up and I'll not use it. So I'm going to get to the end. That'll be fine. I've used it for all sorts, but it's such a pretty colour. I very much love red. This room isn't very red. This is more blues. But whenever I buy dresses and things, I'm really quite drawn to reds, and so reds and blues. But yeah, I'll save them little bits. They will come in handy for something goodness knows what. So we've got, that's inside out, but you get the drift. You get the drift. There we are. Lovely. Pretty pinks and reds. So that's going to be my quilt piece. So we've got the outer, the batting or wadding, and the lining. Okay. Now thinking about what I'm going to put in. So I'll do it on there so we can see where the oval is. I'm thinking I want a pair of scissors. So probably a little scissor pouch, and then possibly a pocket. That's probably going to be too possibly a pocket for that there, and then we'll have maybe that stitched on, but I will put a couple of little pages in, but I won't cut those out yet. I'll just see what pocket wise might go with that. Not sure, obviously it's going to be on the other side. Oh yeah, could be, because I'll obviously want a bit of space for that. Not, but I'll make a little I'll put some elastic in just to slide that in onto one of the pages. It's all right, my brain's thinking. Right, okay, so I am only going to put a single page in, but if you look at this one I've done, it's back to back, two pieces of, is it two pieces? Yeah, two pieces of felt, just to give it a bit of thickness. So I'll probably do that. Right, so in my head I know more or less what I'm doing, she says. Okay, brilliant. So I know that that's my... So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do the outside of my pouch first. I'm going to decorate it. I was thinking I was going to do some little English paper piecing bits. And also, I did think this might be a bit too much of a path. But I haven't cut out enough of these, but we'll do we'll do some little hexes. I'll put that to that side. And I found these are my fabrics. And what I tend to do is I'll just cut got some glue somewhere, some actual paper piecing glue, but goodness knows what I've done with that. I'll cut a square out. If you've not done any paper piecing before, I'm no expert. I'm just going to... So to do the little hexes, you need your fabric, obviously, and your little hexagons. And then, just full disclaimer, I do not sort of profess to be an expert on hexi making, quilting, anything like that. So, you know, this is just my way that I've kind of learned over the last few times I've been making it. I'm going to glue baste. I'll link this in the comments box below. These are great. You can stitch baste, thread baste it. I find that a little bit more fiddly, so but there are tutorials out there. You just have a little look around on YouTube. The University of YouTube has all sorts, isn't it? Just cutting, making sure you can see what I'm doing. Give yourself a decent amount of space. They don't have to be perfect. And what I will say is when you're gluing, don't glue. Let me just use my pointy. Oops, don't glue right up to this edge, okay? Because when you put your needle through, you don't want the glue to get onto your needle. So I just do a little line on this edge. I was going to use, get out of the way, and fold it. What am I doing? Fold it. Give yourself a little bit, it wants to be tight, but not too tight that you can't get a needle into the fabric. You don't want to be going through the card or paper if you can help it. So I'll go along the next one, just a little bit of glue there. Dab of glue on that. So fiddly these. Okay. They're that tiny, but you can't see what I'm doing. To get glue all over my fingers. Like that. So I'm only putting a, let me just see if you can put in the tiniest dab of glue on the tip and then fold in. Because as I say, I don't want to get this glue all over my needle when I'm threading through. There we go. Oops, dropped it. Simple, simple. Add that. Okay, well, I just watched back making the hexes and I thought you're struggling to see that, so I'm going to make a couple just a little bit bigger. So you just want a piece of fabric that's a good 1/4 of an inch, if not a little bit more, bigger than your hexi. Now, I've seen people cut out hexes and, you know, with a template, all that, but these are so tiny. What I tend to do is just snip around. I'm not clank my scissors down too much for you. Let me just move the mouse out of the way. So you've got around about, what, 1/4 of an inch over your hexi. So what you need to do then is, let's just find the glue is there. What have I done with my little pointy? Just had it a minute ago. Oh, it's here. I'll just have a little quick hoover up, vacuum up. So, as I explained, try not to get glue along this edge here, because you don't want your needle to be going through glue. So I always glue just on the tip of the, this is for glue basting, by the way. Probably need a bit of a, so I just glue along that very edge there and then press it over. You want it to be quite snug up, but not that snug that you won't be able to get a needle in. And I'll just turn it. As I said before, I'm no expert, and there's probably a million other videos out there to show you what to do. So I'll just keep it on the outside, and I keep going the same direction. And I'm just gluing on the very end of it. Oh gosh, can't pick it up. There we are. Yeah. Just on the tip until I get to that bit, and then I'll just, oh, I can't get, fold it over. Okay. just put that on. So I've basted all the way around, and as I say, I've gone all the way. I'll show you again. On the edge of your fabric, let's just wind this up a bit. Edge of your fabric, and fold it over. Nice and snug. Turn it again on the edge of the fabric and fold. You don't need much glue at all. And just tip that tip. I don't want to come over, fold over. Come on. There we go. Just put the lid back on that. I've got two little hexes. If you want to know what size they are, they are 1/2 inch hexes. So you measure the, I believe, along the straight edge. So that's a 1/2 inch hexi. I hope that's cleared that little bit up for you. I did look and I thought, oh, that's way too tiny. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of do a pattern on my purse. But I'm going to try, I'm just popping them hexes in like a hexy circle, if that makes any sense for now. And I'm thinking that looks like a little bit like a flower. So I've done 6 of each, which I probably won't use all. And I've got 6 different fabrics. I did forget to say that. So I might want to put one there. I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just have a little play and decide where I'm putting them. You keep the paper in until the very end, really. What am I missing? That one. Right, the one there. 1, 2, 3. This is not necessarily where they're going to go. I'm just kind of having a bit of a play around where I want, how many I can fit on. I think I might be able to get all 6 on. Looking at it, if I get one there, just move them around a bit. That's perfect. So what we're going to do first is I'm not going to put one in the middle. I'm going to do something else in the middle. I'm going to sew these hexes together. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I do that. What I'll do is I'll do it on this bigger one, just so you can see what I'm up to. Find a nice fine needle. I usually like to use an applique needle, but again, I'm using this Dove Grey thread. This is a tip from Kate at the Last Homely House. By the way, if you want to look at her doing some English paper piecing, she does some amazing stuff. Right, so I just want one thread, I think, for this one, because it's just going to be tiny. I'm just hoping that you'll see. I'll put a knot in this end of the fabric, in the end of the thread, and I want to put 2 straight edges together, and I'm going to stitch them together. So I'm going to come into it underneath one of my folds. Biggish knot there, that's not so big. And I want to sew these 2. And you shouldn't be going through your paper. You should just be catching your fabric. I can't see what I'm doing. I need a magnifying glass, because I'm trying to hold it so you can see it in the camera, and I'm not sure you can. If you look, catch, I'm getting the tiniest bit of fabric. Okay. I'm trying not to get my head in the way or my hands in the way. Okay. As I say, I'm not an expert. I can't concentrate on it and talk at the same time. So I've got to that. I might have gone through the fabric paper there. Don't beat yourself up if you go through the paper. It does happen. Right. Okay, I've got to the end, and I'm just going to go back under there and back. That's the way I finish it, and just snip it off. Okay. And that you shouldn't be able to see the stitching. So the next one I would do, I'd fasten it, I'd stitch it to here, because obviously I'm going around in a circle. So I want to stitch that one to here. But obviously I've only got the 2, so I'm going to stitch these ones. Right, that is, just put that in there. That is that. That's not very, I feel like I want to press it down. It will be pressed. So I'm going to stitch all mine together, because that will be extremely boring if you had to sit and watch me do all that. And then I'll come back and we'll stitch them on. We'll arrange and stitch them on. Oh, so it's quite some time later, just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail for you guys. And I've done the 6 little hexy circles, but I'm looking at it and I feel like, because how I'm going to stitch them down, I want to make it look like it's got a border of hexes, so I'll need some there, some there, some there, and some there. So I'm going to make just a few more to cover those patches up. Yeah, I'll probably want a couple there. I'll work it out. I'm just going to, because what I thought I'd do, let me just cut another few of these hexagons. Just get to do some more hexes, and fingers crossed should be enough. So what I thought, let's have a start up here, down here, down here. I don't mind if they go off the edge, I'll just cut them off. It might be just give it a little bit of a where are we going here? This is not right here for some reason. Let's just move it over. You kind of see where your hexi, your gap that your hexi would be. Feel like that'll be there. I want to just do up. So I've used that one, and that one. I'm going to go this one, possibly. Need to be here. And I might have to go there. You see, I'm going to have to cut that off. That's still not quite right, isn't it? But I'm going to do 3, 3, 3, and 3. So whatever. We have, not you, 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 and you. And then another 3 here. 2, 3. But what I'll need to do is I'll make sure that I'm picking them up in the right, because I'm spacing out my pattern fabric. Probably move everything over ever so slightly just so I can get that on. But I'll go away and stitch these little halves up, and then I'll get the iron out. We can press it down, we can pin them on, and we can stitch them on. So I just thought I'll show you what I mean by picking them up in the right order. So I want to go that one to that one and stitch that side. Okay. Hopefully. Don't think. Oh. Trying to not get the papers on these ones. Don't know. There we go. So I've got that and that stitched together. Then I want to stitch that one to that one. So where's my thread? I'll just come back through this way. There. I'm just doing this so I don't get. So I've got my fabrics evenly spaced. They're not evenly spaced, but you know, I've not got two sitting together. You'll know what I mean when you kind of put yours on. I mean, you might have all the same colour. If you're still with me at this stage, that is. If you've not lost the will to live. I bent this needle on the end, I think. Oh, I have. I don't know my own strength. Yeah, I bent it just there. With that. And that'll be easier to place once I've. So I'll do that with these other three. And then I will definitely back. Okay, so I have done all my piecing. I'm just going to press them just so we're a little bit flatter. And what I sometimes do if I've got something like this, I'll take a picture just so I know where I'm at with it. Just take a little picture. And then down a little bit, because at this point probably need to take the papers out. Have a little look at that. Just squeeze those over a little bit there. You see, I'm kind of trying to do like a fake line of hexes in between. And now I've flattened everything out. It kind of might not need all of them. For some reason that doesn't want to. It does. There we are. Pull you down a little bit. You may or may not go on. I wonder if I just put two on. Done. Do you see what I've tried to do? Kind of gone, put a hexie in between every one. Not perfect. I'm not too worried about them being perfect. Right, what I need to do now is I'm just going to move the iron that way so I don't burn myself. I need some pins. I like to use these entomology pins rather than a shorter pin, just because you can bend them around a little bit more. Just going to pop a couple there. I'm going to take the papers out. I'm going to start with this one and get a want a needle, but I can't pick it up. There we are. I've got a big-eyed needle, and what I tend to do is just move your fabric out of the way. You can leave the papers in, by the way. Don't have to take them out. Out the way, and it will just pop out like that. Okay, then just fold it back down. And at this stage, probably want to, once you've taken all your papers out, give it another press. Oh. Now a lot of the ready-made papers, hexes and what have you, have a little hole in them now. Oh, that doesn't want to come out. Make life easier to pull them out. I've stitched through that one, I think. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just lift that off so I can press this down a bit more. It is very fiddly when you're doing them this tiny. Oops. Need to push the iron off. Just not quite as hexagonal. So anyway, you can see that I'm going to be faffing around for a while. And as always, I'm sure you don't want to watch that. For some reason, I feel like I need to fast forward till I've taken all these out. So I'm just going to check my picture which way up that was that way up. Right, okay. So what I'm going to do, let's just move this out of the way and the iron. Bring that back in. I'm going to go pin you onto there. Again, you can glue this down. I'm just pinning for now because I might have to move things around a bit. But these can then become the spacers. So you'll have a better idea of where things are going. That might want to go across a little bit. So I'm going to have a faff around doing this. Actually, I thought for a minute there I've got to cut another one. I was going to like squeal. So yeah, I'm going to have a mess around and take all the papers out. Once I've taken the papers out, I'll be back. I'll have pinned everything on. Okay. Okay, so everything's pressed and I'm just about to pin down now. Let me just my iron switched off just so I don't burn myself, because that's definitely something I'd do. Just sort of pinning down. Ouch, got myself. So I'm making gaps. I'm using my little hexes and I'm making a gap. That is more or less the correct size. Let me just move you over. Right, I'm okay with that. And I'm going to stitch them. I'm just going to stitch these down. That paper needs to come out, doesn't it? Take that out. Just get a needle and thread. Oh. Oh gosh. Needle. My bent needle. Oh dear. Come on, come on. Right, that's you through. You can do two strands of thread or one. I'm just doing one. And all I'm going to do, just get rid of that, is I'm going to come up. Let's get rid of some stuff so you can see what I'm doing. It doesn't focus on. I'm going to go into the fabric below the base fabric and come up and take a little tiny amount of my hexi, and I'm going to applique this all the way around. As I said, you can glue these down, stick these down and not use pins. It's absolutely fine. You don't want to have too much thread showing. You just want to take the tiniest little amount of fabric from the top, from the edge, so should I say, so it doesn't show. I'm just going to adjust this one ever so slightly. Can you see it's gone off kilter a bit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I thought I'd got a 5-sided there for a moment. Why, I don't know. All these pins and all these things sticking out. Like I say, it could be easier if I glued them down, glue basted them, but I'm not. So I might want to adjust ever so slightly. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. This needle's blunt. I'm struggling with it. Got a bent end, and I think the sharp end a little bit blunt as well. They don't last forever. Especially if you're stitching quite a lot. Ooh, come on. So I've been to take my car into the garage this morning. It needed something doing. A recall apparently on something. Hold on. I'm getting very twisted up. So I decided that I would pop to the fabric shop on the way back. And outside the fabric shop there was a post box, a red post box with a crochet post box topper on it. And it was of two swans with their necks interlinked like a heart. It was so beautiful. So I took a little picture. We have a lot of those yarn bombing things going on around us. Don't know what if you have them in your area of the UK or of the world. Do love a good yarn bomb. Got some nice little remnants of fabric just to top up some bits and bobs. For the kits. I do try not to buy new, but in the cockerel kit, what's going on here? 1, 2, 3. Why have we not got 6 sides? In the cockerel kit, you need a bit more fabric. For under the wings, etc. Feathers. And it's always easier to buy a fat quarter or buy some yardage and make fat quarters. I think we have pressed this. I've gone a bit crazy and I'm not left. Just gives it a bit of a tickle under there. That's fine. Yeah, so it's easy to buy sort of a remnant of fabric, a roll end or something, and I get it a little bit better price as well. So that's what I've been doing. Getting ready to post everything out for those people that have purchased a limited edition cockerel kit. Might need a thimble on. I'm coming round to the end of this one. I'm not going to stitch down in the middle. All will become clear once I've done that. I get very tense when I'm doing something like this because I'm out of my comfort zone. It's not really my area of expertise. When I'm trying to show you, I always worry that I'm not getting it right, which I'm not most of the time. I'm winging it. All right, I'm round to the beginning. I'm going to go, because I'm quilting it, I'm going to go back and put a little knot in. I'm going to carry on going all around those. As I say, I'll adjust before I stitch. You know, that one will want to move up a bit. And you'll be able to do that as well. So don't fret too, and honestly, don't fret too much if they're not quite in. You know, it's not. It won't matter. I promise you. I promise that it'll be fine. Okie dokie. I'll be back shortly. So I've stitched down all my hexes, and I did actually stitch the inside in the end because when I folded it and sort of picked it up, they were gaping a little bit, so I just thought, oh, I'll stitch them down. It just makes life easier. You can see I've added a little odd one in here there as well. So, but they're not perfect, and I'm not worried. Things will, as we move on, these will get these little imperfections won't be so obvious. You probably don't even notice them anyway. So I'm going to leave it there, and hopefully I'll be back in a few days with the next instalment. Phew, that was a long video. So I hope you enjoy stitching along with the EPP. Or the English paper piecing. I'm not an expert, as I did say, full disclosure, and you know, I've made a few mistakes on it and I'm not bothered. It doesn't worry me at all. So that said, happy stitching everyone, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.